Now, let us prepare our hearts and our minds for a time of meditation. I invite you to find a comfortable position in your seats. Close your eyes if you wish, and take a few deep breaths. Let go of any distractions or worries that may be on your mind.
Bring me back to center. Bring me back to flow. Now my soul surrenders. Peace is all I know. Bring me back to center. Bring me back to flow. Now my soul surrenders, and peace is all I know. Peace is all I know. Peace is all I know. In this moment, I am whole, and peace is all I know. Bring me back to knowing. Peace is letting go. Love is overflowing, and peace is all I know. Peace is all I know. Peace is all I know. In this moment, I am whole, and peace is all I know. Peace is all I know.
Thank you, David, for that beautiful music, that beautiful harmony, melody, the words, the affirmations bring us deeper into our heart space as we notice our heart space, as that song is playing, as we're in the silence as well. As we breathe in and warm that heart space of ours, our hearts give thanks for the soothing melodies, the soothing affirmations, the knowing that peace is here. Peace is here in this moment, where we are. As we breathe into that knowing, we give thanks. We give thanks for being here together. We give thanks for being here with an open heart, knowing that all is well in this moment. And as we breathe in, we acknowledge that warm heart space and know that it communicates. We communicate with God through that heart space. We communicate with our wholeness through that heart space. That is our sacred heart space. Thank you, God, for being with us and through us in every moment, especially this moment. As we breathe in, our heart grows bigger, our heart grows warmer, and that feeling spreads throughout our shoulders. As we relax our shoulders throughout our neck, relaxes our neck. Thank you, God, for your spirit and love that moves through us at all times, and through the warmth and the sunshine of our hearts. Thank you, God. Amen.
I'm looking forward to Bob's talk this morning on being supernatural. And if you think that's not something that you can achieve, this song is for you. You are an author of the impossible, the living, breathing creation itself, the unseen realm from which the world will flow with the grace of spirit as well. You are an author of the impossible, mystical nature of all life itself, the breath of God from within your soul springs forth from your heart as well. There are forces at play that would have you believe that the world is on fire and out of control. Deceivers will tell you you'll never achieve the truth of your heart and the work of your soul. But be not discouraged from that which you know to be true in your heart, and define it. For you hold the answer to the question you ask, and the ways and the means to assign it. You are an author of the impossible, the living, breathing creation itself, the unseen realm from which the world will flow with the grace of spirit as well. You are an author of the impossible, mystical nature of all life itself, the breath of God from within your soul springs forth from your heart as well. of the things in your life that no longer continue to serve, like the anger of loss or the fear of the cross, that you won't stay ahead of the curve. The reality is that you're never alone, though many may tell you you're wrong. You're never separate from the source. You're the notes, the singer, the song. You are an author of the impossible, the living, breathing creation itself, the unseen realm from which the world will flow with the grace of spirit as well. You are an author of the impossible, mystical nature of all life itself, the breath of God from within your soul springs forth from your heart as well.
You're muted.
You're muted, Bob.
Mute. I was just complimenting your song.
Thank you.
It was the talk. It was awesome. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciated it very much. It's very inspiring. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for having me today. It is my pleasure to be here with you. I appreciate how sweet this Unity congregation is, as well as its roots. Like some of you, I was exposed to Unity in Sacramento back in the early 1990s. My family walked into the Sacramento Unity Church and was completely overtaken by the fun and authentic personalities of Phil and Dorothy Pearson, Wayne and Janet Manning, and later, of course, Jim Lee. My wife and I were having so much fun and super enjoyed all of what Unity represented and presented. Because Unity at the time was very foreign to me. I was brought up Catholic and had very strict rules and regulations. But Unity really freed me up to know God personally, which helped open up enormous new possibilities in life. We enjoyed the regional retreats, visiting Unity Village, and going through the licensed Unity teacher program. And I wanted to just share with you a picture I had. I sent a slide over, a picture of myself and Dorothy Pearson back in circa 2008. Or if we have our operator can bring that up, can share that. Dorothy Pearson was so much fun. And she had this running joke. She asked me, we were at the lunchroom, and she said, "So where are you from?" I said, "Well, I'm from Dublin," just thinking about here near Dublin, California, where I live. And she goes, "Oh, I thought you're not from Ireland." I said, "No, I'm not from Ireland." And she thought that was the funniest thing in the world. Anyway, she always had a great sense of humor. And it was very special to spend time with Dorothy and Phil. After that, I went to a seminary in Berkeley. Thank you for showing that. And became an ordained interfaith minister. The diverse education was what I was really appreciating and engaging the questions of, how do I be a chaplain to my neighbors with a diverse background and beliefs other than my own? And why are there so many types of Buddhists? What is the difference between how Muslims pray and what I have been exposed to? So many questions. And the bottom line is, like they say in Unity teachings and in seminary, it takes practice to be a chaplain, being present without personal agenda. And I've enjoyed teaching Unity classes over the years, which of course has the intention to affect our belief system so that habits and changes come true in our lives. Sometimes there's a bigger voice that says, we want to make some changes to what's going on in our lives, and we don't believe that we can do that. Bottom line is, I believe our main want in life is to be supernatural, leap tall buildings and go shopping at lightning speed, right? Free of health and relationship challenges. Wouldn't life be perfect? Yet the tough parts of this humanness is that we have to go through troubles and challenges to overcome. And that was part of the agreement about coming here. At the same time, to acknowledge that we actually have overcome many challenges, many times in many ways in our past. And we forget that we are supernatural in that we have the ability to consider new options, change our course and our belief systems. We have the power to help ourselves and others to be more able in the world. I sincerely appreciate our Unity co-founders, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, to be bright and ongoing examples of what it takes to open the heart to spirit. Both Charles and Myrtle Fillmore were two divine lights that changed the world as they were great examples of being and demonstrating supernatural. They demonstrated supernatural intentions and attention. Those are two key words in our life. Intention and attention, and what was true to them, because they were willing to change course and apply a different perspective and opinion than those around them. They were doing something completely different. And then teaching us the blessing energies to enter through our heart space, to breathe that in like we got to do, to know that infinite spirit moves through us to provide for us better health, better emotional understanding, and a more delightful way to be in the world. As we reflect on the healing changes that Myrtle Fillmore made in her deeply held subconscious ideas about her sickness, right? If Myrtle was not diligent and persistent every single day with creating a new set of beliefs and getting past her ego that kept saying to her, I don't feel like doing this meditation today. I don't feel like praying today. I got things to do. I don't feel like loving my body today. I'm too tired. We would not be here today talking about the positive joy of unity, teachings, and in turn being able to see our own selves as being supernatural. One of the challenges I find with any teachings is that there are fabulous, great ideas for us to apply over my entire life. Yet our current habits and ego judgment talk us right out of sticking to any changes in our behavior that may be beneficial or maybe that we long for. But to do that, it takes a deep desire, personal and emotional effort if one wants to make changes for a new course or heal from particular maladies. We all want healing in one way or another. We have to want to overcome our ego talk to change personal belief systems that we have been living with for decades. Deep in our hearts that we know that we are supernatural co-creators with God. I mean, that's one of the main teachings, it's the first one, teachings of unity. We are co-creators with God, which means we have the tremendous capacity to move mountains and heal what ails us. Healing is not separate from that. It comes down to, again, our own desire and courage to press forward with God's loving grace to a new belief system to forge a new way of being in the world. And this cannot be an intellectual exercise. We talk about it, we teach it, we say it over and over again, but if we really want to change, it's got to be more than an intellectual exercise, is my point. For as much as we are educated, it's still up to us to want something different in our heart space, in our emotion, to change our subconscious programming, right? And we know through unity teachings that our thoughts and beliefs create our experience, yet because by being supernatural, we can and do sometimes act independently of our old thoughts and beliefs. We actually do that once in a while because we are not our thoughts and beliefs. We have a higher consciousness of the observer, of all wisdom. Notice what makes us feel a certain way. Author Derek Rydall states in his book, The Abundance Project, we are divine power plants. I think that's a very powerful, just right there. We are divine power plants. We are energy, which generates energy according to our attention and intention. Thank you for your willingness today to take a bit of time here and take care of yourself with your attention and intention. Thank you for that. As we work our way in the world, we are the hero of our own life story. Yet sometimes our story does not serve us well, or we finally notice that our story is actually someone else's story. And that drains our energy. Within, we have the power to change that for ourselves. We have to just realize it. And then sometimes our attention is focused on our heart and something we appreciate. And then we are happy as a lark, loving and kind. Our energy is uplifted and feels good. So this talk is about being supernatural, as you are being that right now. The science of how we even survived as humans to this point is incredible and unbelievable, beyond the wildest odds in the universe. Yet here we are, together, communicating through space and receiving messages in sounds and pictures, no less, from many far distances. I've been able to meet friends from all over the world because of this technology that we've created. It's wonderful. Science is finally catching up, though, with what Charles Fillmore and his downloads from headquarters about what we are really made of and how to receive our good from a greater source than our ego and our early emotional education. Along with Charles have been many other lights and courageous humans to draw from, be inspired by, and see a direction for our own lives. But how is it that some of us, we read the books or hear fantastic talk that is truly life-changing? Then we take that encouraging message and go home and watch the dancing puppets on TV, completely forgetting who we are. Every day we have the opportunity to be present to ourselves and overcome our habits of being the same as before, just like Myrtle did. If only we really want to. We have to overcome that ego part of us that wants to keep things to be the same. There was a French philosopher and scientist back in the early 1600s. His name was René Descartes. He stated that I think, therefore I am. You probably recognize that idea. He also said that the mind and the body are separate substances that interact. He didn't know how, but somehow he saw that the mind and physical body are two distinct entities. Descartes could not figure out the crazy mind people had, but could deal with the body as a separate project to figure out. Well, these ideas by Descartes helped shape the methods applied by health and medicine for centuries, all the way through today. What new science has proven is that the mind, the brain, and physical body are intimately and energetically connected throughout. We are divine energy systems. What Dr. Joe Dispenza has been doing over the last couple of decades with a group of scientists is measuring these sensitivities of brain waves and etc. and when our brain reacts when we are in a state of relaxed meditation. And what happens when we, in that meditation, our ideas about what we believe are shifted and changed and become someone that has a new perspective on life or a different perspective. Overcoming the habit of being you is one of his favorite lines. How do you overcome the habit of being you? Our brains can always learn new things and new habits. Dr. Joe Dispenza has been teaching thousands of people in different parts of the world how to be more able and heal through knowing more about ourselves and to how our bodies operate, and in applying guided meditations to help change our subconscious beliefs. The testimonies of personal healings after week-long Dr. Joe events are truly impressive and supernatural, beyond supernatural. The body, especially the lower three chakras or energy centers, record and hold on to emotional experiences that may have been painful in some way in the past. And then we store that emotion for later, subconsciously, in our bodies. The communication between mind and body happen at the speed of light and are affected by and rely on each other. Our human parts are not separate. And as we hold past energies, hurts, disappointments in the body, they form beliefs which drive our behavior. The ego then protects and supports these beliefs, and our life story is created minute by minute, even predicting the future based on those beliefs, instead of what might be real in the moment. Then we go out in the world proving that our personal past hurts and ailments are solid and to be validated at all costs. Myrtle showed us how to overcome that, and this is what Dr. Joe Dispenza has been proving through science on how we can do that as well. There's a lot to overcome, especially since most of all of our beliefs and reactions have been integrated internally before we're even 30 years old. We've already decided how life's going to be. And this is not new information. The question is, how do we actually realize this? Raising our awareness. That's what Unity is about, raising our awareness, and then change these deep-seated beliefs to be more able, well, and happier in the world. A personal story I'd like to share is when I was 17 years old, my father suddenly died of a heart attack at age 37. All life and expectations of my future adulthood changed at that deeply emotional moment. It was an internal and external earthquake. I studied and learned in college what would cause such a heart attack and vowed not to do whatever my father was up to, like smoking, drinking, etc., that would cause an early death for me as well. It wasn't but 20 years later, near when I was turning 37 years old, that I was having heart problems. And so went to a cardiologist who put me through a series of tests and even into the hospital for an angiogram. I don't know if any of you have had an angiogram. It's a little scary. When the test was over, my doctor said, "You're all good, clean as a whistle. Your heart's great." Well, my first reaction was, "What? Why couldn't you have figured that out before putting me through this angiogram?" That was nuts. And then I realized personally, something within me was powerful enough to bring up past emotions strong enough to trigger heart pains that felt very real. I was responsible for that. Once I survived the heartaches, I knew there was a lot more going on under the surface than I was willing to admit or look into. There was a great realization. Even though I wasn't doing all those other things I vowed not to do, emotionally, I still had these heart problems. And of course, they went away right away as soon as I realized what happened. So Unity spiritual education classes and learning meditation helped me notice that I am not those early beliefs. Yet they are ready to appear at any time, but they are not who I am, and I can overcome them. It is up to us to want to put the effort, as sometimes we don't want a better life, says our ego every time. I'm too tired. I'm too distracted for a better life. I'm too distracted to do this. I'm too tired to do that. It will be more work than I am up to for right now to change things. Does that sound familiar? It kind of comes up, right? We have these basic notes that run through our heads that, one of them is, I'm not worthy or whatever it is. We talk ourselves out of moving forward. Even for me, I knew that stress would be one of the major factors of heart problems. And I knew that stress would be my life challenge and downfall, as it was for my father. Yet I had put myself in a very stressful situation every day with an insecure, pushy boss and managing crazy construction projects all over the Northwest. We're traveling all around doing it. I would ask myself, this is an impossible job. Yet I will die if I fail at it. I would fail at my job. I would die. Why was that idea so ingrained? Where did it come from? My health was failing, yet I pushed on past it as best I could. But then as I was slowly opening up in meditation, I discovered that I was running a program from my body. My adrenal gland, specifically, the stress level was governing my life. The high level stress and worry became an ingrained habit, well coordinated between my body, adrenals, and my brain, even though the stress was causing all different types of physical pains, inflammations, depressions as outcomes. As a creative artist, the daily work stresses were coming out in my paintings all the time. I noticed some relief as I painted, yet I knew that at the same time, keeping up the stress level would be the death of me. So I'd like to share a second slide. Personal process painting, my break from my stressful work life. This painting was me working out, moving into the retirement idea, finding a new river somehow. So this is me in the choppy river. I'm always the naked guy in the paintings, doing something, with many piles of my old structures and identities on the shore, working hard to push my boat into a new river, a calmer river, my future that I wanted. After the painting was complete, it still felt energetically too hard to move the boat. I could feel it in my body. It was still too heavy. So I prayed and asked God, what is left to do here? And the big hand on the back of the boat, if you can see it, the big hand on the back of the boat appeared with the message, I have always been with you to help guide your boat. And I had forgotten that. It brought me to tears and was again reminded that grace is always present for us, even in our most stressful times. Thank you for showing that. I appreciate it. As with any addiction, I had to admit that I had to overcome my ego's need to justify that addiction in order to survive, right? And Dr. Joe states all the time, change your energy, change your life. Painting helps change the energy for me. And since all life is energy waves, that made sense. So I'd like to share a few basic practices and tools for change. In the Unity way, we have all these wonderful tools, and all these tools are very simple. They're very simple, and they need to be prioritized to make your life, your vitality, as we age and get through this life. Vitality is key. Your health is better, so you can even feel more supernatural than you already are. So I offer these tools as a raising of awareness to help us move forward in our own way. The first thing is to avoid negative news stories, which every pitch, I call it a pitch. Every pitch is negative. They're not your stories. They're stories that are only designed and pitched to sell drama and commercials. Your attention is precious. And every computer application knows this. You have to acknowledge that your attention is precious. So if we stay off our phone for at least an hour after waking up in the morning, rather start your day on a positive note and shut off the phone an hour before bed. Our brains are not wired for that much confusing input being projected with the blue light. Looking at our phones constantly is a major, major, major addiction. It stimulates parts of our brainstem that cannot deal with the overwhelming input. When I'm at the gym, every young person especially, they're every time they make a stop, they have to check everything. They have to be on their phones all the time, all the time, all the time, all the time. And we get that way too. But it is an addiction. And we can't sleep because it stimulates different parts of our brain late at night, and we can't sleep. So spending an alternative, even waking up in the morning, spending 30 minutes or an hour a day settling the body and mind down and practicing mindfulness. What I am thinking and feeling is not really me, they are observations. And we get to practice that at noon on this channel, right? To do a mindfulness meditation is key to keeping our sanity and moving forward. And when we are in meditation, when we have a thought from the past, because our monkey mind's going on, right? Notice, bring your attention back to the present. Then we have a thought about the future event or worry, notice, and then bring your attention back to the present. That is the exercise. That is the practice of taking back your attention from the monkey mind. It takes practice. Training your body that you are in charge because it doesn't want to be still. It doesn't want to pay attention. It doesn't want you to be in charge. Enjoy guided affirmative meditations. This keeps the ego mind busy on something else so you can be more present in a positive environment. Taking walks, like we were talking about this morning, near trees and water, walks outside are super important. Taking naps when my body needs to heal. And focus on what brings you joy in learning. Writing, gardening, music, painting, for instance, for me is, and having fun with your imagination somehow. You deserve it. You are worthy to do that. If you have a hankering to work with the imagination expression through creative painting, feel free to join me. I'm doing a creative paint workshop, a 3-day on August 6th through the 8th at the Unity Center of Walnut Creek. And get past your own self-talk and let your own ideas flow. It's a point to be disconnected from everything else and to just be with your own imagination. And what's called to emerge from you. What matters is to allow that inner greater part of you to splash out onto the paper without all the rules and someone else's judgments. No straight lines, no expectations. And we did practice this a bit in Davis a while back, and it was really fun. It was really great. This is a little bit longer opportunity, 3 full days. It's a little bit of a drive, but I want to offer that to you. Send me a note if you'd like a flyer and a link to sign up. In conclusion, I encourage you to be willing to rise above the monkeys in your phone and your mind that blind you to who you really are and what you have known always. You are a supernatural co-creator with God. No matter what your ego or your self-talk says, you are a supernatural co-creator with God. And I want to end with an affirmation for today. As I open my heart, I see a new world transforming, and it begins with me. Because there is only one presence and one power active in my life and your life, the all-loving goodness of God. And so it is. Blessings and peace. Thank you so much.